Good morning, everyone, and we are down to 6 days left until the beginning of the new Fed season. So, we are getting down to it. So, we are going to do team previews this time for teams in the Continental Division. Last week, of course, we did the Empire Division. You can go back and look at that. I'm saying previews. I'm kind of throwing my prognostication in there as far as where I think they might finish up at the end of the year. But there's a couple things that you have to take into account. First of all, it is extremely hard to gauge how teams are going to do this early on. We haven't even begun the games. The teams are in training camp. There's still the rosters aren't trimmed down, and you still have a lot of trickle down effect that's going to happen with players that are currently in ECHL camps or SP camps. Some are going to make it, some won't. For those who won't, they'll be back down in the Fed. And so then that makes a big impact on the roster. So we're going to try and narrow this down. It's especially difficult with the Continental Division because it is so tight this year. I really think everyone in this division can win at least 20 games. It's going to be a battle. So let's go with the 4 easternmost teams in the Continental. We're going to start with the Athens Rock Lobsters. I'm just going through this alphabetically. Athens, Columbus, PD, Twin City. Yeah, Twin City's down the list now. Okay, Athens. And I had to expand this from last week. Last week, I just kind of gave you 6 potential starters. Because this division is so competitive, I really had to look at 2 whole lines or 2 units to kind of get a bead on how the team is. So with Athens, of course, we have dynamite first line: Garrett Milan, Philip Virgili, and Dawson Baker. Those 3 are probably going to be the top line. That's pretty special right there. And you put Carter Shinkarik in the back end. Of course, Shinkarik, he can contribute offensively and does. And then you have Matt Garcia, who helps to allow Shinkarik to jump up in the play. Garcia is a very good stay-at-home guy. Your top goaltender, William Lavalier. And then second unit, at least this is what I think could be a second unit. You got Chris Mott as center, comes over from the Binghamton Black Bears. He's a very good face-off guy and offers a lot of depth scoring. You have Gleb Ben-Durkin, who was just acquired from Danbury, and that was a shocker to me. I was like, wow. Ben-Durkin is a good plus point per game player. You have Dominic Dumas coming in. I know he's really excited about coming into Athens. On the back end, you have Michael Greco offering a little bit of strength and grit. You got Joe Calatarsi, very solid. And then you have who's probably going to be the most important player on this team, at least internally, I think. That is Carter McPhail. He is probably going to be backing Lavalier up. McPhail, we don't know anything about yet, really. He played D1, so he's got to be pretty good, but he hasn't proven himself on the pro level yet. We'll see how he does. And then another player that they have Joe Mack coming in, who played in the OHL. Very excited about him on the back end. So their defense is going to be tough. So as I look at things, I say the best case scenario, they can finish first. I think Athens is the only team in the division that is an absolute lock for a playoff spot, because of course you have 5 playoff spots. I don't see Athens falling to 6th or 7th. I just don't see it in the cards. So I looked at things and compared them to the other rosters. If I can get this little magnet off, I did not anticipate having this issue. All right. Most likely, I think they're going to be the #1 team in the Continental. All right, let's look at Columbus. 34-16-4 last year, which was third. Had another very good year. They got off to a slow start, and people were kind of wondering, are we seeing them kind of fall off? No, not really. They ended up pretty solid, and of course got by Athens in the first round before losing to Carolina. So, excuse me. So again, you got a lot of players coming back. We'll get into this a little bit. Ryan Hunter. Now he is up in, I believe, ECHL camp. I think, though, he's probably going to be coming back. Alex Dorjahan, he's been around for a couple of years for the River Dragons, as has Cody Wickline. New this year, a new face, Josh Colton. He is a guy who definitely likes to jump up in the play, definitely likes to move the puck. And then, so you got somebody that has a lot of offensive capabilities on the back end. You need someone that's going to stay at home and guard the net. Well, you got Nathan Balkwill doing that. So there's a good pairing right there. I think that's probably going to be your first pairing. Of course, Trevor Babin, he is back. He joined the River Dragons in the latter part of last year. Played very, very well. You have on the second line, potentially, Ryan Galvin. Had a very good rookie campaign last year. Kyle Moore is back, offering a lot of scoring. You have Justin Samaro coming back. And then the back end, you have Brody Thornton and Hugh Anderson. Hugh Anderson is very much, I feel, underrated. He's a very solid defensive end. Now, you have Tyler Roy potentially coming back, although he has played the last 2 years in the SP. So, will he be back? Well, possibly, possibly not. If that doesn't pan out, they did acquire Connor Green from the Blue Ridge Bobcats. So Babin does have a solid backup no matter what. But Roy is very, very good. Joel Texmo, they're very, very excited about him as well. They really think that they have diamond in the rough with him, and we will see on that. So, again, looking at everything, you've got probably the deepest group of blue liners of any team in the Fed with the River Dragons. So you have that. You have excellent goaltending. The amount of depth offensively could be a little bit of a problem. We'll have to see. But only time's really going to tell. Somebody I forgot to mention, Tyler Barrow. There's a decent player. He's got a couple of years of SP experience. So, anyway, you look at this roster up and down, it's like, well, yeah, it's pretty solid once again. Just when you thought Columbus was going to kind of fall apart, J-Mac's no longer around. Doesn't matter. They're going to be okay. Best case scenario, I think second place. I don't think this is going to happen, but if everything goes sideways, if they have a lot of injuries or a lot of call-ups, again, with as it seems now, the lack of depth that they have at forward, could be a rough season. They could fall down to 6th. I don't think that happens. I am thinking, all right, I need like fingernails or something. I think most likely you have yourself a second place club. Most likely. Again, this is just my guess. I try to make as educated of a guess as I can, but it is tough. The Continental Division is stacked. So Yeah, it's going to be tough. I don't have a lot of confidence with these most likely. It's like I did with the Empire. Empire, I feel like it's pretty easy to see who the haves and the have-nots are. Not so much in the Continental. All right, let's look at the PD Ice Cats, who are, of course, first-year club. They kind of were HC Venom last year, but there's very few pieces left from that Venom club. This really is a new team. Plus, organizationally, um, whole new group of people working with the team. It is a new club. And of course, they're playing in Florence, South Carolina this year. They're really looking forward to things. If you missed it yesterday, I had a chat with their play-by-play director and media relations director, Danny DeBach. Check that out. A nice interview that we had. DeBach's going to add a lot of fun to those of us who are watching on YouTube. So, yeah. All right. So, this is a very interesting club. Um, it's very heavy in one direction and kind of light in another. We'll get into that. All right, so first of all, big trade, the big acquisition was Trevor Lord coming from Watertown. We know he's a top 10 guy, throughout the Fed, as far as he's going to be on the top 10 in scoring. Excellent player. So he comes in. You have Dominic Marcinkevics coming in. The Marcinkevics twins are coming in, but Dominic's contributes a little bit more offensively. He's a little bit more offensively gifted. So anyway, I think he's probably going to be on this first unit. And then you have Dustin Jasso. We all know Jasso. He is one of the most talented and most volatile players that are in the league. And last year he played over 40 games and seemed to dial it down a little bit. So we'll see if that trend continues. Um, he could really surprise a lot of people, even though we know how talented he is. Austin Pickford, great visionary guy on the back end, sees the puck really well, knows who to pass it to, who's got the best opportunity. He gets a lot of assists, doesn't have many goals, but he can rack up assists pretty quick. He really has a great ability for seeing the ice. Jordan Popoff joins the Ice Cats this year. He was with Carolina for a bit last year. And then during the dispersal draft, I thought this was the best pickup of anybody. Ricardo Gonzalez, Rico Suave, of course, we know him from the Motor City Rockers, now joins the Ice Cats, and could be the number one guy. We'll talk about that in a second. All right, on your second line, you have Eli Rivers. You have a point per game guy on your second line. Pretty darn good. Houston Wilson, he is coming in as well. And then Nick Gullo just was acquired a couple weeks ago from Watertown. Gullo's had quite the off-season journey looking for the right fit, and I think we have it. Gullo is a fantastic face-off man, and he just does all the things that a lot of players don't want to do. Going into the corners and digging things out. He's despite his size, his very physical presence. He really contributes to the team in ways other than points. He does get points here and there. He's got a surprisingly deceptive shot. But anyway, he joins. And then you have Nicholas McGill-Diaz, another. You have quite a few former Rockers on this team. And then we end up with some question marks, literally. One of the players that was expected to come in and be a big part of this team was Timur Rasilov. He's played many, many years over in Europe. Fantastic defenseman. He has decided to start playing in Romania. Now, that could be due to visa issues, so it might be that he comes in, a month or a little bit more than a month down the road. I don't know. But right now, he is playing in Romania. Brent Moran, currently with the South Carolina Stingrays in camp. And I think he has a good shot at making it. Moran has been a standout in the SP for the last couple of years. It was a big signing, and if things don't pan out either in South Carolina or with an SP team, yeah, he could come back and end up being the number one guy. I just don't know if that happens. And then, if it doesn't, they do have a couple other goalies that they're looking at camp. They have Matt Sales coming in and a couple others as well. So we'll have to see what happens. But anyway, I look at this team, though, and you got to ask, though, okay, so what if Rasulov doesn't come in? What if Moran ends up in the ECHL? Great for him. PD, they'd be missing somebody. I look at this team and I say, yeah, they're going to score a lot of goals. Lighting the lamp is not going to be an issue for the PD Ice Cats. Question is defense. There's not a lot of depth there. And if you are pushed into a situation where you're playing against a very physical team and you have to rely on your fifth and sixth defensemen, might be issues. We'll see. And oh yeah, I didn't mention Hugo Koch. He comes back. He was with Monroe last year. Just kind of fell through the cracks last year, and I'm waiting to see if he has a season more like he did 2 years ago with Mississippi, where he had 67 points as a rookie. Which Hugo Koch are we going to get? There's a lot of type A personalities on this team, and I'm not picking on anyone, but sometimes that can lead to problems. That can create a lot of tension. And if everybody isn't on the same page, it could lead to difficulties. But we'll see. They have a very good coach in Gary Graham. Graham knows how to handle people and how to get everyone on the same page. So he's had great success in the SPs before. So best case scenario, I think a third place finish would probably be their best. Again, mainly because you're going to see a lot of 7 to 6 games with this team. Worst case scenario, they fall to 7th. I don't think that's going to happen. And as I looked at things, it's like, okay, 2 teams are not going to make the playoffs. And PD could be one of those teams. It's so hard to tell. With this, in 6 months from now, I could look like, wow, I picked that one right. Or it could be like, well, I really misunderstood and misinterpreted these guys. So we'll see. All right. Lastly, we have the Twin City Thunderbirds, not the Pontiacs, but the Thunderbirds. They are always the Thunderbirds. All right. So, of course, last year, again, the runners-up, 3rd straight year. And so they are the Buffalo Bills, so to speak, of the Fed. But they're a very good club. 41-11-4, which was first in the Continental. At the beginning of last year, nobody expected Carolina to end up on top of the Continental Division, and yet they did. So, Coach Harrison knows how to get the most out of players. All right, so early on in this offseason, it looked like this is going to be a really different team. And, well, yeah, the defensive core is a lot different. But there are a lot of players coming back. Signed late, of course. They usually do in Carolina. So Twin City looking to have a very similar roster to what they had last year with some minor changes. All right, so on the first line, Gus Ford. Yep, he's back. We all know he's one of he's going to be in the top 5 of scoring every year. Excellent guy, especially dangerous in shorthanded situations. He's a complete player. You have Zach White, who had a phenomenal season last year. After a couple of years in the SP, he decided to settle down in Winston-Salem and fit right in. Not a surprise, but Roman Kramer, he's been excellent on that first line with Gus Ford. And then in the back end, well, coming back is Stephen Ford, no relation to Gus. Stephen Ford, he bounced around quite a bit, played with 4 different teams, but he really made it known, I want to be in Winston-Salem. That's where he really felt the most at home. That's where he's going to be. So Ford comes back. James Farmer, of course, very good on the back end. We've seen that the last couple of years. These are the only 2 really familiar players coming back on the back end. And I've got to do some changes here because late last night, after I had written up this board, made everything back, yep, a little post on Facebook came up. Boris Babic is back in town. So this changes the dynamic with the goalies big time. Really big time. So Babic, of course, had a shutout last year. Had a couple shutouts, I believe, and had a phenomenal year. Of course, he's been kind of in the shadows compared to Mario Cavalieri. Cavalier, excuse me, Cavalieri. Sorry, I always get the pronunciation messed up. Cavalieri is not back with the team, nor is Peter Panicek, nor is Joe Kennedy. So there are some big pieces missing, but there's enough coming back where it's not going to be a problem. All right, so Boris Babic, and then you have Ed Coffey. If for some reason things don't pan out with Babic, Ed Coffey, he had a good debut in Mississippi last year with a club that really struggled defensively, and he's a big guy. He's like Ben Bishop from the NHL. He's huge. I believe he's 6'7". He takes up a lot of net, and he's pretty athletic too. Second line, you have John Butita coming back for one more year, and this was the big surprise, a big pleasant surprise. Boots had made a lot of noise in the early part of last year. This is my last year. This is my last year. Guess not. Guess not. He loves what's going on in Twin City, so he's coming back. Jacob Schnapp, probably, in my opinion, the best 2-way player in the Fed. You've got to watch him closely. I know he's pigeonholed. He's the rat. He's the guy that causes a lot of trouble. If you watch his play, phenomenal 2-way player. Anyway, Jan Salak, I guess you have to put him on a second line. That's a nice luxury to have, huh? Cody Elks, we don't know if he's going to be coming into town or not. Twin City has his rights. He was signed to play with the Michigan Shadow in the MIHL, but maybe he thinks, hey, Twin City, good situation. I'm coming back. So we'll pencil him in. Kyle Russell comes in. He had a phenomenal year 2 years ago with Mississippi, and then last year had the opportunity to play with the Athens Rock Lobsters, 13 points in 38 games. Yeah, he's a stay-at-home guy. And then on the back end, or in that rather, if Babic doesn't pan out, they're really high on Chad Purdy. And also they're really big on a new forward, Michael Mania. How can you not love someone whose last name is Mania or Mania? That's awesome. Yeah. So anyway, I want to see what kind of mania he creates. All right, so I look at this team. I really think the Twin City is probably the only other team that could potentially finish first. With Athens in the mix. I don't think this is going to happen. If everything fell apart, they could fall to 6th. Again, only because this league is so competitive. That's why I have such a big gap between best case and worst case. This league is this division is so hard to finish out or figure out. Excuse me. I think most likely you're probably looking at a third place club, but time will tell. We will see. I believe last year, I initially picked Carolina for third, and they ended up atop of the division. So you just never know. So there we go. That is my best case, or my best guess, I guess you could say, with how these teams might shake out. We still have to look at the three Gulf Coast teams: Monroe, Biloxi, and Baton Rouge. We will take a look at them tomorrow. So, yeah, the picture isn't completely finished yet. So, there you go. All right. So join me tomorrow for looking at those three, and we'll see how things might shape up in the Continental. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. That'd be great. And make sure to follow me on Facebook. I'm going to be incorporating some things from WordPress this year, including Monday, I'm going to have I have to use air quotes because it's kind of tough. Again, I'm going to have my preseason power rankings, and we'll post that on Monday. It'll be posted on the Facebook page, I believe. But if not, you can go to the WordPress site. The link is at the top of the Facebook page. All right. There we go. Thank you again so much for watching. Have yourself a wonderful day, and we will catch you again tomorrow.